get set up. All right.
You know, it's going to be people in here because it's part that we have parking lot.
Quiet somewhere.
Thank you.
Good morning, Greg. Can't hear you yet, but at least we know you're there.
Good morning.
Are we ready to get started? Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our December 23rd regular council / planning meeting. I will confirm that we do have a quorum here. Councilor Booth is joining us virtually, and all other members of council are here and present. I'll call the meeting to order at 9:31 a.m. We'll move on to territorial acknowledgement. We respectively acknowledge the township of Alma is located on the Mississauga-Neshinembig territory and is the traditional territory of the Mississauga-Neshinembig. The township of Alma respectively acknowledges that the Mississauga Nation are the collective stewards and caretakers of these lands and waters in perpetuity, and that they continue to maintain this responsibility to ensure their health and integrity for generations to come. We're going to move on to the agenda. Before we start the agenda, I would just like to advise everyone that we have had some additions. Typically, last reading of the year, when everybody else supplies reports, and we'd like to get them on if we can before the end of the year. So staff have advised that there's a few extra ones, and I'll just read them off so everybody's aware of them. That the procedure bylaw provisions be waived to permit the following addendums: the conference training request from Councillor Booth, correspondence from Northumberland County Council, award and bylaw for PRF 112025, design and contract administration for ice rink floor replacement for the Haldeman Community Memorial Arena, Snowmobile Association Memorandum of Understanding Amendment, the Fire Dispatch Amendment Agreement Bylaw, and the Northumberland County Official Plan Amendment Update. So it is recommended that the agenda with the addendums added for the municipal planning and regular council meeting held on December 23rd, 2025 be approved as amended. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councillor Ainsworth. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Does anyone have any disclosure of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Deputy Mayor Stover.
Thank you, Mayor Lobo. Mayor Lobo, my declaration has to do with agenda item 15.6. The reason being the Northumberland County Council report regarding approval of draft plan of subdivision for the new Danforth subdivision. Thank you. And ask this to Madam Deputy Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Seeing no other ones, we'll move on. That will be recorded in our minutes. Motion to go into a public meeting. It is recommended the council of the corporation of the township of Alma enact as follows: that council go into a public meeting under section 34 of the Planning Act at 9:35 a.m. on December 23rd, 2025. I need a mover to seconder. Moved by Councillor Ainsworth, seconded by Councillor Booth. Any discussion? All in favor? The motion is carried. Okay, the first one that we're going to discuss today is zoning bylaw amendment for Joanna Lee and Mayung Suk Lee. Madam Planner, please go ahead.
Good morning, thank you through the mayor. The Lees, who live at 196 Turk Road within part 9, concession 3 in Hamilton Township, had received approval of a consent application in March of this year to sever a 0.2 hectare lot addition to be added to the property located at 2667 Shelter Valley Road. This application is to change the zoning of the lot addition from rural to rural residential. If there's any further questions, I'm able to answer them, and I just know that the application is conforming with the official plan and provincial planning statement. Thank you.
Thank you. Does any member of council have any questions? I think it's pretty straightforward. Was there any public inquiries?
I had not received any. I'm not sure if there's anyone online here for the application. No?
There doesn't appear to anybody online, but I'll ask anyways. Anybody online that wants to make a comment regarding this application? Seeing none, I'm going to read the motion then. That is recommended the council of the township of Hamilton enact as follows. Yes, it is. Oh, that's all here. Okay, we're gonna move on to 8.3, and that is a motion to reconvene to a public municipal planning / regular council meeting. That the council of the township of Calderwood reconvene to the municipal planning / regular council meeting at 9:38 a.m. Mover and seconder, moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councillor O'Neill. Thank you. All in favor? That's carried. Next we go into bylaws, and the first one is bylaw number 96-2025, zoning bylaw amendment Z 12-2025. And this is regarding zoning bylaw amendment for part of lot 9, concession 3. Excuse me. Any comments, Madam Planner?
No.
Thank you. I'll read the resolution then, and if there's anybody who wants to speak, we can. Bylaw 96-2025, being a bylaw to amend the zoning bylaw for part of lot 9, concession 3, be given a first, second, and third reading, and finally pass this 23rd day of December 2025. I get mover to seconder. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councillor Ainsworth. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion is carried. Now we're going to move on to planning department reports. And our first one deals with an addition to the reserve proposal for Alderville First Nation. It's PLN 2025-61, addition to reserve proposal for Alderville First Nation for the 23rd of December 2025. Madam Planner, do you have any additions or comments on this application?
No, I don't have anything additional to add. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Go ahead, Councillor Ainsworth.
Through you, Mayor. I read this report, and I guess the background is quite lengthy, what's been going on in the past with previous staff. And I'm just wondering, you know, at this point, it seems like there's so much more that needs to be talked about. There's so much more information that needs to come to us to be able to make a sound decision on what we want to do with this. I'm not sure what we want to do with this today, whether we just want to receive it for information or whether we want to make a decision on it. I see there's some things there where they want you to go talk to maybe just affairs, maybe to try to put together a path forward for an agreement. So I think just wondering at this point if we should just defer this until we get more information.
Okay. I'm going to give you my history on it, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. Basically, when the new rights, I forget which one it's called, but with the province and Canada, they agreed that they would allow them to take part of the land back that they had, what's the right word for it? Anyways, there's some land that Alderville had once owned at one time. And there was a first application was made in 2019, I believe it was. And that was this particular property. And they made an application and council at the time agreed to it. And that's my understanding, and that's why I'm pretty sure of that. And then, we were supposed to get back to Alderville and we may have even done that, but there was no official, writing back into the government of Canada. And so it basically got dropped. And then there was in addition to 3 more properties, which this council has approved. And when we got the letter back from Alderville asking us to sign off and everything, then Alderville realized and informed us that particular property had not even been included, the one from 2019. That's my understanding. Do you have any comments on that?
Just to clarify, I think it was I believe it was 2018, and the letter was added to an agenda, but there was never any resolution to address the letter. So, Alderville had pointed out that, that letter was outstanding. So the, federal government sent a new copy, to us. So we were able to find it in the agenda, and they're looking for a response to that letter.
Okay.
Because there's never been a formal response back.
There's never been a response back. Okay. Thank you for correcting that. You said it did come to council, but it was never a decision was made.
That's correct.
Thank you. Okay, so I stand corrected. Thank you very much. Councilor O'Neill.
Currently owns this piece of property.
I believe that it is owned by Alderville.
Oh, so this is just tying up something that's already happened?
So it would be adding, through the mayor, sorry, it would be adding the lands to the reserve lands.
It's just a completion of a step, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
I didn't hear. Did you have your mic on?
I do, it's my voice.
Okay.
Sorry, we're just clearing, this is just a closing step, and she confirmed that was a correct interpretation.
Okay. But there is one, it does affect the township. My understanding is because there's that tax benefit that we have because it's in our township, but owned by First Nations. They have to pay a tax. And by granting this application, we lose the tax income. Is that correct?
I believe so.
Yeah. Councilor O'Neill.
Would there be an impact then on our road expenses one way or another through this?
On our which?
Road?
Oh, road. Oh, okay, I saw you. Okay, thank you for clarifying. That makes a lot more sense. I don't know if Dave wants to comment on this or not, but my understanding of it is that we are negotiating right now with the roads, and we could probably add on to this to what we've already approved, because that would make a change. You agree, Dave? Do you want to comment? Yes. It will cause friction. Yeah. Okay. So we would be looking probably for, the council would be looking for, the township, I should say, would be looking for some type of reimbursement because of the change in road classifications, or not classifications, but the loss of tax revenue. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, do we have any idea what the cost of the tax dollar is?
Yes, I think it was in the report.
Was it in there?
$4,000 or something like that.
5,000.
Is that yearly?
Through the mayor, it's $5,444 or $45.81 annual taxation.
And how have you proposed to get around that? There we go.
I would
Through discussion, we're talking about this.
I would suggest that's what we do. This one compared to the other three other ones that we approved is quite a bit bigger than the other ones. Is that correct or not?
Through the mayor, they were varying sizes. I don't have the exact sizes with me. But in both reports, I included in the conclusion that there should be discussions with Alderville on agreements for shared service tax loss adjustments. Indigenous Service Canada does offer facilitation and technical assistance for those discussions. So if need be, it would be good to reach out.
Okay. Go ahead, Councillor Leo.
That isn't in the motion in front of us. Is that something that should be added to the motion for clarity?
In my opinion, I think we should be asking staff to arrange for a meeting with these people to see if we can take advantage of what they're offering and do that.
I agree. My question is, should that be in the motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
In my opinion, we can adjust that. Go ahead, Councillor Ainsworth.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. I mean, that's why I'm saying that we should maybe defer this for right now and staff do some more work with them. I mean, because there could be fire services here that are going to be, added on to the whole project. Maybe down the road, the solar panels that are all on that one big field are all part of it, I'm assuming. And have we already lost those now? Because we need to get residual income from them.
Okay, from my understanding, Councillor Ainsworth, that property is not included. And it never has been included as part of the Alderville First Nation.
Okay.
The property is all as part of the township and they pay taxes equivalent to whatever it should be in that property. Okay. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Lowell. As I'm listening to the conversation, would it, if we did defer this, would it inhibit trying to do the next step and have a discussion, because you're not going in and signing things off until the information comes back to council? Would that be correct? Like, if we did defer this, it would slow it down, whereas if we moved it past it today, it would help move this along and get more information, because you're not going in and doing the final signature on this.
Okay, so what you're saying is that we approve it and continue to work towards it. We're not stopping it.
Yeah,
We do,
if we defer it, we're staying in.
okay,
This is my
that's a
thought.
possible thought.
But you're not going in there signing off everything, because we still have a lot of information we need to get.
Yep. Councillor Booth, you haven't had your hand up, but I'm not looking at your screen all the time, so I can't see you, but do you have any comments?
No comments.
Thank you. Okay, so Tracy, did you have a comment?
Through the chair, or I believe it's the federal government that is the approval authority, so they can make a decision regardless of the outcome today, I believe. Thank you.
So, okay, so if I understand you correctly, the government of Ontario or Canada, pardon me, Canada and Alderville are working the system that is suggested for harmonious relationships or whatever great thought on, or truth of reconciliation, and that's the process that we're following. And if we don't decide not to do it, then they'll do it anyways.
Well, I
Is that
can,
too short?
through the mayor, I can read a portion of the letter.
Okay,
It says, while local governments do not have a general or unilateral veto regarding reserve creation proposals, Canada encourages the township of Alma-Calderman to work collaboratively with Alderville First Nation to resolve issues of concern and mutual interest. So I think they're encouraging, those discussions to address the loss of tax revenue and the maintenance of the roads and fire services, et cetera. So I think they're encouraging open dialogue. It is my interpretation of the letter.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councillor O'Neill.
I'd like to make an amendment, if I can at this point, that we jump down where it says conclusion and add that as an amendment. The township enter into discussions with Alderville First Nations on agreements for shared services and tax laws adjustment. If necessary, a request should be made to Indigenous Services Canada for facilitative and or technical assistance.
Technically, there's nothing on the floor.
Sorry, I was just reading the amendment I'm proposing.
Yeah, there's nothing.
Oh, we don't have the first one.
We don't have the first one on the floor, so you can,
So then I'll make the motion with the addition.
that's fine.
All right, I'll
Okay,
make the
second.
motion with the addition from the conclusion.
Madam Clerk, did you get all that? Can I get a seconder for that motion? Seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. Further discussion? Councillor Ainsworth.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. I just want to caution us to make sure that we're not putting ourselves in a position that we can't sit down and talk about the whole package. We got lots of things going on with all of the First Nation when it comes to agreements and service agreements and stuff that need to be, we've already sent staff back, back a few meetings ago to talk about the services and the cost and stuff already. And can we not just add that to those discussions? Right, instead of making another motion to move forward with something else, let's put it all together in a package.
I think, that, my opinion, there are negotiations, discussions going on. And I think that progress we've made so far, looks good. I would not want to slow it down by, adding this as a possible link, in my opinion. Anybody else?
I guess, sorry, Mayor, I just, maybe we should see that information in the package before we make this decision and see how it's all together.
Okay. I've got a motion on the floor. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, please. I'm gonna read the motion as it's prepared.
So through you, Mr. Mayor, just to confirm that we have it, Councillor O'Neill. The motion that we have is that council enacts as follows: that the mayor be authorized to respond to correspondence from Indigenous Services Canada expressing support of the proposed addition to Alderville First Nation, and that a copy of the correspondence be forwarded to Alderville First Nation, and that the township enter into discussions with Alderville First Nations on agreements for shared services and tax loss adjustments, and that a request should be made for Indigenous Services Canada for facilitative and or technical assistance.
Yeah.
And that was moved by Councillor O'Neill, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover.
I think that's captured really well. Any further discussion? Councillor Ainsworth.
Are we satisfied that that motion is not going to bind us to anything and going to cover all our bases?
I am. I'm satisfied. I'm gonna vote in favor. If you're asking me. Good question though. Anybody else have any comments? Councillor, Deputy Mayor Stover?
I was just trying to find this, thank you, Mayor, we'll go through you. That, if we aren't part of this, a decision is gonna be made without us. Coming from the top, this way, we're at the table, we're finding out information, we have our input. So, I think this is the best way to proceed.
Anybody else have any comments? All in favor of the motion? Motion is carried. Opposed? The motion is carried. Next we have, bill number 60, Fighting Delays Building Faster Act 2025, PLN report, PLN 2025-62, Bill 60, Fighting Delays Building Faster Act And I'm gonna ask our Madam Planner to, take us through this, the report.
Thank you, through the mayor. There is quite a lot of changes that have happened with Bill 60. Many of them are urban related. So I did highlight the three items that would have the most impact for the township, including making provincial policy statements inapplicable with respect to all ministers' decisions under the Planning Act outside of the Greenbelt area, which we are within, or outside of that area. Allow minister zoning orders to be made by non-regulatory orders, so that'll help me with my work, because in the Planning Act, there's a table of contents with all these hundreds of zetos, and that'll make it easier to find, the relevant sections we need to work with on a daily basis. And removing barriers to enable more flexible use of community improvement plans under the Planning Act. So that enables like the county they could create a CIP, for example, for affordable housing, and it's not just limited to lower tiers now. There's been some changes to the Development Charges Act in terms of calculations. So our consultants that are going to be doing the development charges study are aware of those changes, and we'll make sure that their work adheres to that. The province had released a really good technical briefing when they released the draft, which I thought was very helpful in explaining what's coming. There could be more regulations to come. There's talk about making changes to official plans, requiring maybe a standard table of contents and some page cap limits. So that may affect our work on the official plan review. So we'll be keeping up to date with changes to come. If there's any questions, I can do my best to answer them, but there's quite a lot of information that I haven't still processed. Thank you.
I just want to make a quick comment. I found that attachment or their summary very helpful, because it was pretty heavy reading, the other stuff.
It is.
And there's quite a few changes, and some will be easy to follow and some will be more difficult to follow. But a lot of it is set up for urban centers that have lots of wastewater issues and issues with rail lines and make sure that built beside subdivisions are put close to major train stations and this, that, and the other type thing. And I don't think that we're quite ready to address those type of things yet. And maybe someday we will, but not for while I'm around anyways, I don't think. I'll open it up for questions from members of council to our Madam Planner. Councilor Ainsworth.
Through you, Mayor. I mean, I like this bill, obviously, and, again, when it comes time that we start digging into our official plan, I'm sure this plus all the other changes that have come through from the province, I think they're sending a message for what they would like to see our, municipalities do, and putting it into municipalities' hands to make the decisions for some of these, or most of them probably. So, more of just to say that you see the way the province is moving, and like again, our official plan should be able to encompass all these new changes. And I'm kind of, I don't know now, because this just came out and I got literature in here for the county official plan, whether that's going to go back to them to maybe address any of these issues, or.
Madam Chair, did the county official plan get approved by the province?
So that is the next report, but the official plan, amendment number 2 did get approved.
From the counties?
Yeah.
Okay. And so that's what we're working with, that's what we're supposed to work with now? And until there's some changes? Or if there are any changes, but that's the way we're supposed to be moving forward.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect that there would need to be changes to this
Okay,
portion based on the changes that were done with Bill 60.
okay,
So, I would expect if the province felt it wouldn't align with Bill 60, because they prepared this information, that they probably would have held off on approval until that was, incorporated. So I don't expect that to change.
and the proposal that you're working on with, to change the, planning act, not the planning act, but official plan, you will be, following up with Bill 60 and the consultants are all aware of that.
Yeah, I still should finalize terms of reference. So we haven't retained a consultant yet, but we will be, making sure once the consultants are retained that I would expect most professionals will make sure that they're incorporating any changes that come along, and there could be additional changes to regulations that'll come through the process, and hopefully changes will slow down and we'll have everything we need to work with. So we're not having to go back and tweak something that we've just recently completed. We'll have to see how it goes. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other further questions or comments? Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Lowell. Tracy, as we read all these bills that are coming down and the amount of information that is coming forward, I really congratulate you on keeping abreast and trying to simplify for us the changes, because every time I read one of these bills, it sometimes it's heavy reading, and when you're putting it all into place, I really congratulate you for the good job that you're doing and trying to expedite where you can.
Well, thank you, through the chair. I'm sure there are ones that I have missed.
I remember that.
Other comments from members of council? I'll read the resolution. The council received report PLN 2025-62, Bill 60, Fighting Delays Building Faster Act 2025 for information. Did I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Deputy Mayor Silver, seconded by Councillor Booth. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Moving on to the Northumberland County Official Plan Update. Approval of Official Plan Update 2, which is, and the report is PLN 2025-64, Northumberland County Plan Update. Approval of the Official Plan Update Revision 2 on the 23rd day of December 2025. Madam, please go ahead.
Through the chair, as noted in the report, the province has approved the county official plan amendment that involved the employment and growth targets for the county. And they are continuing to work on the settlement area expansion request and the agricultural amendments. The province still has the natural heritage system amendment that they're reviewing and hopefully will be in a position to approve shortly. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Seeing no questions, I'll read the resolution. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Councilor Neal.
It's not a question, it's just a comment, so that, for the awareness of the public, that as members of council, we feel confident in what we're seeing in front of us because we did attend the meeting over in Crammy where the county was sharing their information. So that's why there's probably no questions coming forward today.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think pretty well everybody or most of the members of council were at that meeting in Grammy, and there was lots of information shared. I'll read the resolution. that the county receive report PLN 2025-64, the Northumberland County Official Plan Approval of OPA 2 for information. Mover and seconder. Moved by Councilor O'Neill, seconded by Councilor Booth. I missed your hand there for a second.
Yep.
Further? All in favor? Motion's carried. Madam Planner, thank you for your presentations. And we wish you and all the family all the best in the new year, or for Christmas and New Year.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you too.
Merry
For the
Christmas.
rest of the council.
Okay, we're gonna move on to committee reports. And as recommended that the council would Elma Calderman, that agenda's 11.4 on the December 23rd, 2025 municipal planning regular council meeting agenda be received for information. And that is 11.2 is the Ganaraska minutes of November 27th, 2025, the Lower Trent Conservation Authority minutes for October 9th and November 13th, 2025, and the Hall Memorial Arena and Recreation Complex Fundraising Ad Hoc Committee minutes December 3rd, 2025, and also the November 18th, 2025 minutes. So could I get a mover and seconder? Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councilor Ainsworth. Any comments? Go ahead. Councilor O'Neill.
I'm not sure if we're open for discussion on items, but I'd like to, reach out to Deputy Mayor Stover regarding her motion to Ganaraska, and I feel like it will be a good one for us to support, but I would appreciate some information on that.
Is that coming from the minutes? Can you tell us a little bit more? What?
Sorry, it's page 51 of our agenda package. It starts there, it's new business 11. And it's their motion 50 of 25.
When, Doug, you speak on that.
Sure, please.
Thank you. So this has to do with the amalgamation of the authorities and the input that the authorities are sending into the government. So we have our speak when they're planning it. They've gone from, their proposal is 47 conservation authorities going down to 7. And so since this meeting, there has been another document that has been sent in. And it's just trying to keep our visibility, because nobody knows how this is gonna work when it comes forward. Is it, who's gonna be included? How is this all going to work? So this motion is just sending in what we think is important and trying to get everything included. It's, this was a pretty quick turnaround on this one. And, the second one, is just, as they go through this, they're asking for more information. And here we are at the holidays, but it sounds to me, like it's moving fast. I don't have a deadline, where it's at right now. They're still compiling information, trying to see how everything works, so that would be where we're at. As far as supporting this motion, again, I'm not sure if that would be in our hands. I think it's coming down from the province, and it sounds like this is what they think would expedite a lot of environmental issues and cost wise.
I summarized that report basically and said that the GRAC does not support the boundary changes. an amalgamation of conservation authorities. And they moved that on and sent it on to the proper authorities. And I understand, does that answer your question, Councillor O'Neill?
That was my takeaway of it as well, but I know that there's often motions that come from other municipalities, or in this case, a board that, we do send letters of support, and my sense was that the township of Homewood Haldeman, I would like us to send a letter of support for the, motion made by the Ganaraska.
Okay. Can we, I would suggest that we look at the other one as well, the Lower Trent, because, my notes have that, their first report, which was, in November, I believe, they talked about the capabilities of the maintaining the service without, more fundraising to, or not fundraising, but to reflect the, inflation. And they're not getting that money unless it comes from the individual municipalities, and the municipalities are not necessarily agreeing with that. And I think you've stated that before. I see Lower Trent is doing the same thing. And then, they were also saying Bill 68, which is part of the, MCEP, I believe, is, really going to affect small municipalities, is what I read out of their minutes. So that's kind of what you're saying too, Councillor O'Neill.
Yeah, I think this is something that's going to have a big impact, and we need to keep and make sure that we're not lost in the shuffle, which I think is a rewording of what you were saying.
Yeah, and this has come, I'm not sure when this started, but it's come through fairly quickly. And, it's kind of, it's put the conservation authorities in a bit of a state of chaos, because they're not just too sure how this is gonna look. But essentially that was the thought that, we're just kind of stagnating here, we're kind of wondering how it's gonna look, and, that kind of the motion speaks for itself.
Not that I have the answer or not, but my impression of it is that the province wanted to continue on for the next year until a new, council, term starts, and then they're gonna start implementing those things. Was my take.
And that would, that was also a discussion that happened, and they're, how I wouldn't wanna be the person orchestrating this and how it's gonna look and who's gonna sit on the board. Where there's just so many answers, and it's very hard to plan for something like this. And with the other document that went through, they're continually asking for more information.
So to summarize all of our discussions, am I correct in saying that, or I'm taking the words out of Councillor O'Neill, but, we'd like to respond to whoever they've responded to and say that we are covered by both Lower Trent as well as the Ganaraska, and we support their concerns. So you want to make that motion?
Sure, I've made that.
Pardon me? Oh, I have a motion on the floor. Okay. So can, what do you recommend, that we receive for recommendation and then, approve that for recommendation and then, put in a second motion? Okay. Well, now that we've got the three of them together, then I would just like to make a quick comment on the third one, which was the Holden Memorial Arena, and I would ask that the chair make a comment on those, because I understand it's going, the committee is going real, well, Mike, but you might want to make some more comments on that.
Yeah, through you, Mayor.
Sort of put you on the spot, but
No, it's fine. It's a great opportunity for everybody to see our work plan and, to be able to get it here in front of council. This group is like a bunch of racehorses just waiting at the gate to, jump out and get things going. They're working together really well, and, you know, when the group first got together, you know, they all had these thoughts and ideas and stuff, and then as the meetings evolved and we started going through the terms of reference and putting together our plan here, it really instilled in the processes that they weren't aware. So, you know, they're buying into it and they're just eager to get this going. The format is to see it set up in different levels of where we want to start and how we want to, you know, first, second, third, fourth, for instance, how we want to work with the, you know, grants and work with businesses and different companies that are, benefiting from our township and so on. And, you know, going right into the last part would be, you know, doing events for the residents and stuff, see where we end up. So, lots of information in there and, you know, depending on the, donation amounts of how people want to be, noticed for that is kind of a bit of an open book. Cause you can, you know, 5,000 versus $1 million kind of thing, right? So, it's got some good information in there and we hope council is okay with it. And, you know, we're waiting to get our feet on the ground, get going.
It's my understanding too, Mike, that they're going to come to council with their proposal before they actually start to go at it. Is that true or not?
Well, this is basically the proposal right here.
Okay, so they won't be coming to council with a formal presentation?
No, I don't know. We're not planning to. This is our work plan. If council accepts it, then, we're gonna get going.
Okay. All right, so, we were supposed to receive this for information, and we can do that, but it sounds like we want to do some other things with the the conservation authorities as well as this one.
Yeah.
Is that correct? So let's, go ahead. So we'll receive, the 11.2 and 11.3 for information, and then after we've approved that, then Mary Catherine will ask you to make a motion regarding your comments. So we'll do that first, receive 11.2 and 11.3, and 11.4 for information. Mover to seconder. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover and seconded by Councillor Ainsworth. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Yep, or pardon me, Councillor O'Neill, do you have a motion?
That we send a letter of support for the Ganaraska motion, GRCA 50 /25 to both Ganaraska Conservation Authority and Lower Trent Conservation Authority. I'm open to if council would like it sent to others as well.
Deputy Mayor?
Very well, I think that's a great idea that we include, would we include everybody or would we just include the county municipalities in our county?
Go ahead.
I would say I agree on the municipalities within the county, but I think we should have our MPP added to that list as well.
As well as the two conservation authorities.
And the conservation authorities, yes.
Everybody okay with that?
We need that.
Need a seconder? Seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Okay, going back to 11.4 again, we do have a couple of recommendations prepared by staff. And I'll read them. The council include a budget for the Northumberland Memorial Arena and Recreation Complex fundraising ad hoc committee in the 2025, 2026 township budget in the amount of $2,000. Can I get a mover and a seconder for that? Moved by Councilor Ainsworth, second by Deputy Mayor Stover. Further discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Recommendation 2, that the council approve the Halton Memorial Arena and Recreational Complex Fundraising Ad Hoc Committee Fundraising Strategy. Mover and a seconder, moved by Councilor Ainsworth, seconded by Councilor Booth. Any discussion? Councilor O'Neill.
I'm pleased to see the work that has been put together to get this report in front of us today. And I see that you, somewhere in there, that they were gonna reach out to, the province, but I would suggest that reaching out to the group in Trent Hills, because that Sunny Life, project just celebrated their first anniversary, so that's a very recent example in this area, so I think it's worthwhile to reach out to them. And then ORFA, which Councillor Booth will have to remind me what ORFA stands for, but they also provide resources. So not just the province, but those other two would be worthwhile to reach out to.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All in favor? Motion is carried. Moving on to administrative reports. And the first one is the council training conference request by Councilor Booth for the Good Roads 2026 annual conference, which is in Toronto on March 29th through April 1st. It is recommended that the council approve that Councilor Greg Booth be approved to attend the Good Roads 2026 annual conference in Toronto from March 29th to April 1st, funded from the 2026 council budget, training budget. Mover and a seconder. Moved by Councilor Ainsworth, second by Deputy Mayor Stover. Any discussion? Councilor O'Neill.
Just to comment, I know that when Councillor Ainsworth and I attended Good Roads, which was a very, very informative conference, their recommendation was to have like a senior manager there and a frontline worker and a counselor. And I did see many other municipalities that sort of had that 3-person team also going around and talking extensively at the company information booth and about what projects will be offered in their municipality that year. So it is an opportunity to talk with the professionals in the field, but also with the suppliers in the field. So hopefully we have staff going as well.
Thank you. And that's a good recommendation. We can't force that, but it's a good recommendation. And I'm sure staff will be considering that in their training plan. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Next, we have the Great Pine Ridge Snowmobile Association Memorandum of Understanding Amendment. And we've had an opportunity to read that. I'll read the resolution. The council received report CLK 2025-26. Great Pine Ridge Snowmobile Association Memorandum of Understanding Amendment for information, and that the clerk be authorized to execute the amendment memorandum of understanding with the association. Mover and a second. Moved by Councilor Ainsworth, second by Councilor Booth. Any questions, comments, discussion? It's my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they took out some of the trails that they had been asking for. Maybe I'll ask the clerk to make a comment on that, please.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, yes, that's correct. I'm not sure of the circumstances which led to those portions of the trails being closed, but the Snowmobile Association have received, as part of a provincial-wide grant, $5 million to help with the trail maintenance and keeping trails open. So they are using those funds and have now been able to reestablish those trails to what they were for the 24-25 season.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments? Councillor O'Neill.
Just that I love this agreement. I love the work that the, snowmobile club does to maintain their trails. That's fantastic. My concern continues to be the, snowmobile riders who are leaving those designated trails. And I know Councillor Ainsworth, and I brought to his attention over the weekend where there was a birch tree down on, part of the NATV trail that is not part of the snowmobile trail, and sure enough, and it would have been in the midst of snow, a white tree across there is not maybe highly visible. Anyway, a snowmobiler had already gone off through the woods around that tree that had fallen, so my concern continues to be, and any signage we could have that says stick to the trails would be, I think, a huge improvement for us.
Thank you. It's funny because I ran into the same thing on a walk there on Saturday, Sunday morning. There was a tree right across the road. And, I was fortunate that, I could walk and get around it. And I was also fortunate that, Public Works was in the area and I spotted him and he went and got it moved.
Yeah.
So. Any other further comments? Councillor Ainsworth?
Just for some education purposes, so the OFSC is pretty much regulated under Bill 100, which gives them the right to ride snowmobiles right downtown through Grafton. They don't do that, but what it does give them is the opportunity to ride from home. So probably what Councillor O'Neill is saying is just people riding from their home to get to the trail, and all kinds of trail signs about staying on the trail once you get there. So those bases are kind of covered, and that's probably why you do see that. I mean, I ride from home, so there's multiple people there. So get to the groomed trails and then they're home.
Thank you. Further comments? All in favor? Motion is carried. We're going to move on to, Fire and Bylaw Department reports, and the first one is Bylaw Enforcement, part-time position. CAO 2025-29, Bylaw Enforcement, part-time position, December 23rd, 2025. Dave, you're going to take us through this? Morning.
Morning. I don't have a lot to add to the report other than with review with county staff. They have been very satisfied with the work that has been done by our bylaw team for Forest Patrol. And with respect to the Forest Patrol for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it is 100% remunerated by county to the township.
I have one comment. I don't hear about this stuff anymore. So when you don't hear stuff, that's usually a good sign. So I believe that you are doing, how it's working is working out fine, and that was confirmed by the director responsible for the Northumberland Forest, that it is working out well. So my congratulations on you and your team for putting that together and making it work. Anybody else have any questions or comments for the chief? Councillor Ruth.
Yes, through you, your worship. I'm just wondering, the report says that the county is paying for everything. So would that include, like, are we using a county truck, or are they using our trucks? So are we using our vehicles and paying for the gas, or does the county reimburse us for that?
Through your mayor, so upon invoicing, the county reimburses us for the use.
Oh, everything.
Yeah, for the Forest Patrol.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions? Comments? I'll read the resolution that the council receive report CAO 2025-29 bylaw enforcement part-time position for information, and that approval of the continuation of the part-time bylaw enforcement position to work Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of every weekend for the 2026 calendar year. Do I have a mover and seconder? Moved by Deputy Mayor Stovers, second by Councillor Ainsworth. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion's carried. Moving on to RFP, award RFP 112025 for the design and contract administration for ice rink floor replacement for the Hollywood Memorial Arena. Dave, do you have anything else to bring forward, or anybody else have any questions? I don't. Questions? Councillor O'Neill.
My question is around how we move forward in this piece of it. So this is hiring the engineer, which is a, rule of thumb, 10% of a project cost. Which we do have enough to pay for that, but how are we funding the remainder of this project? And should we be moving ahead with hiring the engineer when we don't know how we're gonna fund this project yet?
Thank you. Do you have a response to that, Dave, or not?
I don't know, other than what's been brought to council previously.
Thank you. Councillor Ainsworth.
Through you, Mayor, maybe just to reiterate what we've done here is, we passed a motion for staff to find money to pay for this process, and our fundraising committee is going to raise money to pay the township back. That was passed in the motion. We do now, of course, just passed our strategy to do that process for raising money to pay for the project. And, I believe staff is gonna diligently look for revenues to facilitate the cost for the ice replacement and the contractor. So, saying that, I believe we have everything in place. It's a great report from staff. Very great to have it on as timely as it is, with the amount of work that probably had to go into it. And, seeing this come with the strategy from the fundraising team is just a nice little package altogether, seeing here today. So there is avenues there, and the information there and how this project's going to be funded.
Thank you. Councillor O'Neill.
I'm still awaiting to see how that plays out for us in budget. The only document that we were provided did outline borrowing that money, and without money in hand, that's our only option, as was outlined in that report. That report, if we take your suggestion there, Local, and amortize over 20 years, would have us having a 3.45% dedicated increase to our budget this year. That's on top of what I'm hearing from other municipalities, 11% for policing. That's on top of our cost of living and wage increases. That's on top of addressing the road repairs and everything else we are having. So if we're looking at that, how big of a budget increase are we willing as council to accept coming forward in the budget? If whatever we've done, and every year to this point, we've been at 6%, are we saying, yeah, we're good with 9.5% this year? Like, I want to see this so that we truly know what we are asking our taxpayers for before we decide what we're going to do.
Go ahead.
May I be excused? I'm not involved in the debate. Are there any more questions, Mayor?
Yes. Are there any more questions? But, go ahead, Councillor.
Just to you, Mayor, not questions, but just some more clarification. Staff could end up finding the money for this year.
I think the CAO would rather not be involved in.
No, but I'm just kind of clarifying,
Okay.
because I understand Councillor O'Neill's concerns, but her concerns if we had to borrow the whole amount. And sure, right now with the fundraising going on and stuff, we have different avenues of, to say that the development charges are $3.5 million in it. Is that enough to do the whole thing? I don't know. Can we use that whole thing on the arena? I don't know. But I'm saying, you know, with avenues of where we're going and surplus land and stuff that we talked about in the motion, that avenue is there. Just gotta let staff do their work and get this done. And in the meantime, in the background, the fundraising committee's funding for the money to pay whatever back we have. So it could be, it could be an X amount of dollars to start with for the arena, but they're gonna get it back, hopefully in a couple of years. I mean, that's black and white, that's been the process in the last 2 or 3 meetings that we've been doing. So, I mean, it's all out there, what we're doing. The strategy is trying to pinpoint for donors, so they don't have any questions. And, for council and staff to, see what the project's doing and how we're going to unfold it all.
Thank you.
So all the information is there. And, I don't suspect that we're going to borrow $5 million. I suspect minimum. Part of that. When it's all said and done. So let's let staff do their work and, come up with whatever we deem that we need. And let the fundraising committee do their job.
Well, there's 3 or 4 people that have, 3 or 4 things that have to happen. And I agree that it's something that we've got to work towards. You know, you mentioned the properties that we could possibly sell. I know that every time we went to the province before for a project, unless you've got everything laid down and in place, you're not going to get nothing. You're not going to get a commitment from the province unless you've got a plan and are working towards that. And you can't start without doing this basic work. So I understand your concerns, Councillor O'Neill, but I think we have to put our place, know what we're after. We have know where we can possibly get money, and we're gonna move along and do that. In my opinion. Thank you, CAO. Anybody else want to make questions or comments? Councillor O'Neill.
I will just make a comment that I cannot support what's happening in front of us until I see the funding plan in front of me on paper.
Thank you. Anybody else have any other comments? I'll read the resolution. The council received report PR 2025-19, award of RFP 112025, design and contract administration for the ice floor replacement. Haldeman Community Memorial Arena for information, and the council award RFP 112025 to Barry Bryan Associates for $78,000 plus HST, and that a bylaw be brought forward for consideration to authorize the mayor and clerk to enter into an agreement with Barry Bryan Associates for RFP 112025. Can I get a mover and a seconder? Moved by Councilor Ainsworth, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. Further comments? All in favor? The motion is opposed. The motion is carried. Thank you, everyone. Moving on to communications. We have a motion to receive communications, and those are items 11, 15.2 to 15.6 for the December 23rd, 2025 Municipal Planning Regular Council Meeting agenda to be received for information. The one is for the Intermunicipal Task Force on Housing and Homelessness. And the second one is for correspondence from the Intermunicipal Task Force on Housing and Homelessness regarding efforts for advice, practice, housing solutions, and correspondence from the Intermunicipal Task Force on Housing and Homelessness regarding new approaches to housing and services in rural Ontario, and correspondence from the Municipal Task Force on Housing and Homelessness regarding the November 20th, 2020 meetings, and correspondence from the Northumberland County Council regarding approval of the draft plan of subdivision for New Danforth. Could I get a mover and a seconder to receive for information? Moved by Councillor O'Neill, seconded by Councillor Ainsworth. Any questions or comments? Oh, Councillor O'Neill.
Two comments. The first is that, it aligns very much with what our planner was saying earlier in this meeting, the work that's happening with the task force. When we had the opportunity to meet with Braden Smith at AMO, our, task force did raise the need to, give municipalities, both at the lower and upper tier, the opportunity to incorporate these things before new changes came along. So to stop making so many changes and let us, implement what they're asking us to do. And the other is there was a press release. Now it is dated on there for November 28th. We did send it out at very late notice, hoping, and Brighton was able to put it on theirs and shared it with local media as well, because November 30th, I believe, is National Housing Day. But whether or not council still believes it would be an appropriate thing to do a press release, just saying that yes, as a municipality, we continue to want to see solutions for housing and support this as one of the.
Thank you. Councillor Ainsworth.
You, Mayor. I don't know if we've had a final answer on how we're going to get the equipment in and out of this project. Do we have any background on any new information? Are we going to use Old Danforth Road, or there's a couple options that we talked about? I think that was the biggest concern from residents, that they're not coming through town and down past.
You're on something, okay. You're not talking about the, okay.
Yeah, this whole project.
Yeah, the second project you're talking about. Which was, I think 14.
Well, this is like Old Danforth Road, right?
Yeah, Old Danforth Road on 15-6, okay?
Yeah.
Well, no, we're on a bunch of different ones.
We just discussed.
But, okay,
Sorry.
so Mary Catherine, are you okay with what we have?
Yeah, we can just receive for information, or if it is council's wish, we can indeed make a release. And I see that the draft version is on our agenda rather than the final version. So anyway, we could get that to you if that was the desire.
Oh, I'm getting a little bit confused. Are you talking about the intermunicipal? Are you talking, okay?
Yeah,
Okay,
I thought that's what you were just asking.
yes, I was,
Wrap that up.
okay. So you're happy with the proceeding file? Thank you.
That's fine.
Councillor Ainsworth, did you want to make I'm not sure whether you want to do something different, or this, you're talking about the correspondence from the Northumberland County regarding the approval of the draft plan for subdivision for New Danforth?
Yeah, I was just looking at the map here. And it shows the Old Danforth to the south of it all. I guess my concern was, you know, are we going to use that for entering and exiting?
My answer to that question would be yes.
So we're not gonna come down through town, come down past the Catholic Church, that area, right?
Oh, what are you talking about?
There's a map here, let me, it's 15-6, it's part of Wilson. Yeah, it's condition, it's the draft plan subdivision. So it's just a map, I'm just looking at the road.
I see, Madam Planners on the virtually. Do you have a comment on that, or did you hear the question, Tracy?
Can you hear me?
Yes?
Through the chair, can you repeat the question, please?
Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, through you, Mayor. So my question was just with the the map of the draft plan, it shows Old Danforth Road to the south of it, and the questions were through public meetings, are we going to use that for the construction? Vehicles coming in and out.
Through the chair, there was a condition of draft plan approval included for the construction route to avoid community safety zones. And the route will need to be planned out through the detailed design review, and we were directed to report back to council at that time once the route has been determined. It has not been finalized at this point, but we will be reporting back to council once it is finalized. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other comments regarding this application? I'll read the resolution. Well, maybe I did already read that. Did we get an approval? Oh, it was moved by Councilor O'Neill and seconded by Councilor Ainsworth. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried. Going on to bylaws. And the first one is bylaw 97-2025. Execute agreement with Barry Bryan Associates for the design and contract administration for ice rink floor replacement at the Holyrood Memorial Arena. Bylaw execute 97-2025, execute agreement with Barry Bryan Associates 2025. It is recommended the council of the corporation of the township of Alma Halloween enact as follows: that bylaw 97-2025 being a bylaw to execute an agreement with Barry Bryan Associates for the design and contract administration for the rink floor replacement for Holyrood Community Memorial Arena be given a first, second, and third reading and finally pass this 23rd day of December 2025. Mover and a seconder. Moved by Councilor Ainsworth, seconded by Councilor Booth. Any further discussion? All in favor? Motion is carried. 16.2 bylaw 98-2025, execute an agreement with Peterborough, Northumberland, and all fire dispatch. BL 98-2025, execute amendment agreement with Peterborough, Northumberland, et al., which I'm not sure what that exactly means, but fire dispatch 2025-1223. Somebody with that, tell me what that et al. Means. Go ahead.
Through you, Mr.
Madam
Mayor,
Clerk.
it's just a short form for, instead of having to list it all municipalities, it just means and included
Okay,
or and following.
so that's all of municipal in Northumberland County. Okay, thank you. I'll read the resolution, and if you have a comment, then you can ask. The bylaw 98-2025 being a bylaw to execute an agreement with the city of Peterborough, Northumberland County, and Northumberland County municipal members for fire dispatch be given a first, second, and third reading and pass this 23rd day of December 2025. Can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Councilor Ainsworth, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. Any questions or comments? Councilor Ainsworth.
Through you, Mayor, more of an update maybe, from our fire chief, CAO. There's always been issues with our area dead zones. You know, for fireman safety and communications. I'm just wondering if anything's coming down the chute to help that process out.
CAO, you have a comment?
What I can inform council and the public is that we are still working on it. There have been some upgrades that have been put into place with respect to digitizing the radio, but we still continue to have a significant amount of dead areas, less dead zones than we had when we were analog, but we still do have quite an issue with penetration into buildings. The county staff are aware of it. The county chiefs are aware of it. There's been some great communication at the interim CAO's desk with our representative, President and Vice President of the Northumberland County Fire Chiefs Association. We are continuing to work on it. The next step is we're hoping that at some point there may be a request come to County Council to do a needs assessment for the radio infrastructure across all of Northumberland County with respect to fire emergency services.
It's just so I was better, so you're saying it's just, it's in buildings or locations or a combination of the two?
Depending on what department, some departments have reported they're not having any problems. Other departments have reported that they are having some problems. There is a difficulty with respect to penetrating the radio signal into buildings. And when we look at administrative labor requirements, section 21 specifically, there is a requirement for the fire service to have well-working radio communications. It's a must. So we are working through it. There's been some very positive forward movement with respect to that.
And I understand by the, and I know I'm not gonna assume nothing, is AH having some of those problems? Or are we the ones, the few ones that don't have any problems reported?
A&H has definitely increased their capacity with respect to radio communications, but we still struggle with building penetration.
And that's not necessarily, or is it, buildings that are owned by the township, or it's any building?
No, it doesn't, it's just any building, it just has to do with the penetration of the radio signal.
Thank you. Go ahead, Councilor, do you have a follow-up?
Well, I guess I'm just concerned about safety for our firefighters, and I'm sure that everybody's taking it seriously. Is there any way that we can, as a council, help this process?
Get it
moving faster for the firefighters.
I would suggest that when we started addressing this on a more serious level about 4 years ago, we've been incrementally moving things along. Are they going as fast as we would absolutely like? Well, I don't think anything moves as fast as we would like municipally. So we're doing the best we can. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of people involved. It's understanding at what capacity the county has responsibility versus the municipalities. And so we're working through that. And I think that the overall understanding and the fire chiefs table with our meetings is getting a whole lot better. And we're definitely moving things forward. We're just trying to do that in a unified group. So to your direct answer, there's no fast fix at this point. We are doing the very best we can. We've tried a couple different things to try to help with this. All of our officers are very aware of the radio communications capabilities and non-capabilities. And so we're working to keep everyone as safe as we can at all times.
And on in the background, Davis, for the last couple of years has been informing me of the challenges that we have. And we've been working with the fire chief, I guess, for the county. But what's this actually titled?
There is no fire representative at the county.
Okay.
It ended up with Public Works.
Yes.
And so we've had some great discussions about capacities and where things need to go. I'm not going to comment any more on that. I can just say that things are moving forward. The next meeting is scheduled for, I believe it's January 8th. And that'll be our representatives, our president and vice president of Northumberland County Fire Chiefs Association will be representing the group there at that meeting. And Glenn, the interim CAO, has been fantastic to work.
Should municipalities be putting money towards this group to help them out?
I think that's being handled currently by the county.
Correct.
And if it's decided by the county and county council, then they go back to the townships, or pardon me, the member municipalities, then that'll be discussed at county and,
Mayor, there are a multitude of layers to it. And if we don't make the right calculated decisions, it could cost multi-millions of dollars to fix. So we're doing the best we can and moving things forward. ensuring that our people are safe, but also with respect to the economic impact of an emergency radio system.
And when I look at it, we're probably way off subject because this was to approve the contract, so I'm gonna pull it back in. Good discussion, but we're a little bit off course. So, it's been moved by Council Ainsworth, and seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. Any further discussion? Yes, go ahead, Councilor O'Neill.
First, I am pleased to see anytime we've got something sitting in front of us that shows us cooperating and working collectively to solve problems. So I think that's a great thing to see. My question is related to the opposite. You mentioned about buildings and radio communication in buildings, but the other piece that I see all the time, living out in the middle of nowhere, is what happens if there's a fire or another type of incident where we don't have fire numbers and the communication within the hills and the woods and the farmlands here.
I'm gonna allow that to continue, question, because we are off subject.
Couple of questions that arose there. First, I'll address the municipal numbering. So we do have municipal numbering with respect to residents that we know about and are aware about. And then we have the Emily project numbers there for vacant land. The township departments as a collective, when the senior managers talk, we have a lot of interoperation between the building department, the planning department, the bylaw department, the fire department, and public works department. And then, of course, if anything goes legal, we have to go to the clerk's department. So there is a lot of interoperation today, analyzing a lot of our issues that have existed. And there still remains to be a significant number of them that we're working through. We're trying to take the time to educate our residents. We do have to send out letters of documentation to let people know when they're not in compliance of the municipal numbering system. And we're working through that step by step. It's interesting to know that there are things that can pop up at any time and all of a sudden send you in a different direction. So it's good that we are aware and that we do know about it. It's good that residents do let us know about it. I know there's councillor members that have let us know about different things that we do look into. It's trying to find that parity between the municipal governance laws with respect to legislation and policy and also human rights. And we're always work within that realm. With respect to the radio communication, when we're out in the open and in the rural area, our radio system now with the new tower that's at Alderville combined with the radio tower that is in Coburg, which is considered to be the Coast Guard tower, and as well there's another tower out Crammy direction. We do have some very good radio coverage now. It's the penetration inside of buildings. So we have the opportunity to go to a second channel, which is called the simplex channel, and that channel allows us around the fire ground communication. I believe the maximum capacity capability is about 2 kilometers. I'm not too sure the penetrating power of the radios with that, but where you get into that, as soon as you go to the simplex channel, radio communications or your dispatch service is no longer monitoring the airways. So we then have to figure out who is monitoring that, and then that becomes a responsibility of the on-scene officer or a designated on-scene officer to manage and monitor that radio communication. So with respect to the appropriateness and emergency services radio communication where fire is, it's having your dispatch that when you're on the air, they're not just monitoring the radio communications to respond back to you. They're monitoring the radio communications in case there's ever a urgent matter. If there's ever a mayday call, we also get into air monitoring, scene management monitoring. So there's a lot of working pieces. Overall, the radio system is a lot better than it was 3 years ago. But it's gonna cost a lot of money to move it into 2025 specs. So we've got to keep moving it forward, and that's what these meetings are for. Did I answer all your questions?
Yeah, my primary one was about the radio there,
Yep.
because you've mentioned in buildings, but I had questions on the other.
Thank you, CEO. All in favor? Motion's carried. There are no closed session items today, so we're gonna move on to confirming bylaw 99-2025. The bylaw 99-2025 being a bylaw to adopt the proceedings of the municipal planning / regular council meeting held on the 23rd day of December 2025, and to authorize its execution, be given a first, second, and third reading, and finally pass this 23rd day of December 2025. Mover and seconder. Moved by Councilor Ainsworth, seconded by Deputy Mayor Stover. All in favor? Motion is carried. And we'll move on to the municipal, motion to adjourn, that the municipal planning regular council meeting held on December 23rd be adjourned at 11:02 a.m. And the meeting's over, but Merry Christmas to, oh, I'm sorry. Mover and seconder. Moved by Deputy Mayor Stover, seconded by Councilor Booth. I want to wish you everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you and your family, and we will see you the second week of January 2026. 26, wow, that's not that far.
Wow, that's
All,
amazing.
well, there's no all in favor. All in favor. Carry. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.